All right. So today we received a question from one of our listeners who wanted to know a little bit about how to highlight certain cells to indicate that something needs to be updated. So in this example, he's dealing with some data where he's capturing basically, let's say, name. Okay. He's going to capture the person's name. He's going to capture the plan that they use. He's going to capture the, and so that plan is based on, has a date, and then consents, last consent. Last plan change, plan update. And so what he wants to do in this case is that he wants to have, in any case where this last plan update was more than 6 months, he wants to highlight that somehow. He wants to be able to visually highlight that. So let's just put in some data. Tony Toes, let's say that's 1/15/2019, and the last consent was done on the consent, I believe, is supposed to be every year. So let's say it was done. It was actually done 2019. Okay, and Brenda. And these are totally fictitious names. And so let me give this 9/15/2019, and let's say the last consent here was actually 1/1/2018. Okay, so when you're thinking about highlighting some data, one of the things that normally comes to mind is selecting this column and then going over to formatting conditional, and then say highlight cell rows less than, and I can easily do something that's less than 6/1/2019. But there's a problem with this. This means that every time he goes into the spreadsheet, he'll have to actually go in and update this himself. So that's maybe not something we want, right? But if you did that, you'll see that this row gets highlighted because it's before 6/1/2019, and this one doesn't get highlighted because it's after 6/1/2019. So let me just do a Control-Z and undo that. So what I want to do is I'm going to add another column here and another column here, assuming we had some more details over there. And I'm going to say, I might say months since last update, or I could just say so I want to do months since last plan update. That's really what this represents. I'm going to call it exactly what it represents: months since last plan update. And I'm going to leave it there for now. And I'm going to do the same thing here: months since last consent. Okay. And now what I can do is I can take the difference between today's date and the last plan update and give me the amount of months. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the equal sign here, and I'm going to use one of the Excel functions. It's called DATEDIF, and it doesn't come up automatically, but it is a function that will work. You see there you have like a little hover. If you clicked on it, I think it gives you more information. So I'm going to do a date diff between that last plan update and today. And what I want to do is I want to do it in months. Okay. So I'm going to do M for months. And that, this should be a number here. I don't know why that's, okay. So that's 11 months, correct. Okay, and that's exactly what I want formatted here. So now anytime I open the spreadsheet, if I open it a month from now, this number will automatically change. So let me just roll this down here, and you see that that'll be 4. And now let me do the same thing here. Give me a little bit of practice. Equals date, DIF, the last consent date. Today is a function that'll give me today's date all the time. So whenever I open the spreadsheet, it gets updated. And M, it tells me for months. I can actually put a D for days or Y for years. And for this one, it might make sense to do. Actually, months is better. And so this actually, when I copied it over, it took the format of the prior one. So I'll just change the format to number, and let me remove spaces. Okay, and so very clearly here, we can see that this one, we can now use conditional formatting on it. And so we can do conditional formatting where we could say if it's greater than, right, for last plan update, I think they cared about 6, right? I think one of the odd things here is that whenever you actually highlight text, it'll show the text if you do equals to. So what I want to do is I'm gonna do conditional formatting. So I'm gonna say between instead of greater than. So I'm gonna do between 6 and 6 months, and let's say 600 months. And just so you know that make sure that my header doesn't get highlighted. Okay, and I can do the same here. Data. Again, this is good practice to just do it. I think I lost. Where's my conditional formatting? Yeah, it's under home. So conditional formatting, highlight cells between. Excuse me. This one I'll do between 12 months and, again, outrageous number like 600, right? So and so that'll give us a bit of a highlight there. And so that's an easy way to do highlighting of months, that and something that's dynamic and that will work month after month after month. And obviously once you change this date to represent, hey, we actually updated the assessment today. I think I'm in the future, but if I updated the assessment today, I think it doesn't like that because I'm in the future, but right, it'll show me 0. So I'll be back to normal. I can also decide to, if I wanted to, I can also do conditional formatting on these to represent anything less than 6 to be green. But I think that sometimes that actually adds a little bit more noise. You just want the red items to pop out a bit. So I hope that was helpful. If not, email me at asubtlemind@gmail.com. with any other questions or any other thoughts you may have.